Hey, welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you checking out this video. Hope you're having a great day. Today, we are going to go through a drill that's also a competitive game. So it's going to have them doing it more at game pace, which is important. And it's going to be a lot of fun for the players as well. And it focuses on something that, for those of you that coach, especially younger players, but you even see it as they get into their mid teens, this very common mistake of shooting and crossing. This is going to be adjusted into a crossing drill as well. Going right at the keeper, going near post. You see a lot of balls that go out of bounds, right over the end line, near side of the goal when they actually should be going far post. And so many players struggle with that, getting the hips turned and getting their foot around the ball and connecting and going far post. And it seems to be a struggle more with females than males, but it is definitely a struggle for both. So this is a really cool drill slash game that helps work on that. And you get two teams. You can divide your team up into two. Obviously, this is something you work from both sides. With time and setup, you might only do one side in one session in a practice and fit it in and do the other side in another session. So you get them working on both feet, but you're going to have break it up into two teams. If you have a large roster, if you're 11v11 and you've got, 20, 25 people, maybe if you have access to two goals, that would be helpful. And you could break it up actually into four teams. But it is fast paced. So even if you've got 4, 5, maybe 6 players, it can go pretty quick. So, but you'll have to adjust to that because obviously we don't like players standing around for a long time. But here is the basic setup, and then we'll go through the rules. And you have one player at a time. You one team. The other team, because it needs to be done because it's so fast paced, the other team is going to be behind the goal, shagging the balls and getting them back out to the team that is currently going. It's basically rounds. One team goes. You can you can adjust the time. I think did 2 minutes, maybe 2.5 minutes, but I think two, because again, if it's only 4 or 5 players, they'll also get a little bit of a work because it is high pace. So basically, what you do one player at a time is this player is going, because of the time, because you're trying to rack up as many points, it's going to keep them going at pace. They're not going to want to go slow. But you have a cone out here to start. You have these two cones here. The player has to shoot their shot between these two cones. So when they get to this cone, now they have the opportunity to shoot far post. They're trying to go far post. So between this cone here, which we'll show, and they need to shoot before they get to that next cone. And again, this is something that you can adjust as a coach for the skill level and age of your team in terms of how far apart they are. You can start adjusting to, closer to the end line, further out toward the touch line. And then what you have over here is you have a cone that is maybe 4 feet away from the far post, then one that's, say, 4 feet away inside the goal. You can divide this up. I like to make the middle a little, probably about equal, maybe a little bigger in the middle, and then also near post. So what the players are trying to do, what they're working on, is being able to get their foot planted, get that plant foot towards the far post, get their hip around as they swing and make contact at the ball. So we want to put the ball on the ground, far post. That's what we're looking to work on here. So we get away from that floating. You see it all the time because they don't get their plant foot correct and they don't get their foot around the ball and they don't get their hips turned. You see a lot of times, especially that floater, right? That high floater that actually spins and tails off near post, usually out of bounds. So we want to get away from that. So we have scoring for you, folks. Anything on the ground between the cone and the far post for a goal, that is the max. That is 5 points. Now, because we are so focused on working on getting that ball, and we all know that a lot of times that type of ball is, may end up being a cross instead of a shot for somebody to come in from the far side and tap it in. So then that's why we have the cone out here. The next score is going to be 4 points if it's on the ground outside of the goal, but inside of the cone, right? 5 points on the ground inside here, far post, 4 points on the ground outside. If it goes between the cone and the far post for a goal in the air, 3 points. If it goes far post, outside of the goal, far post, and the cone out here, 2 points. If it goes on the ground in the middle, you will get 1 point. Anything else, 0. And in your 2 minutes, you're trying to accumulate as many points as possible. So you either have a coach. Obviously, you're going to want one coach. If you have 2 coaches, you can have one coach score, the other coach watch. Maybe you get a player on the other team to score, but you can figure that out. And so it becomes very high pace. So you go 2-minute round, they're going at tempo, they're dribbling down here, they're working on that technique. And again, it's also something you can set up where this is a technique you work on either right before this drill and break it down and go through it with your players, or you do it in a practice and then you go to the drill in another practice. And then they go for the 2 minutes, they try and get as many points as they possibly can. Then the next team goes, this team shags balls, and they try and beat that score. And I think you'll find a lot of players really like this. They like the competitive element. It becomes high paced. Sometimes, again, if you're only going with 3 or 4 players, they kind of start getting on each other because some may actually slow down. You're going at such a high pace, and you want to get as many shots as you can as a team. And then the last thing I will point out for something that you can do, again, this is adjustable depending on the skill level and age of your players and where you want to go. Maybe you really want to get them focused on that turn. So you actually go deeper down here, and maybe it's, and it's just, can they even get it across the face of the goal? But yeah, they're going for that far post. It might be a tough angle, but it becomes a cross. Or, again, you can also make it where they've got to, maybe we're going here, you're going all the way to the end line and to here, and you want balls cut back to the penalty spot. So maybe it's like if you can get it cut back through those cones on the ground, it's 5 points. Maybe if it goes between these cones, it's 3 points, or however it is. And that's up to you to adjust and experiment. I wanted to show you the drill for that shot, just getting that ball far post, because it's such a common problem for a lot of young players. So hopefully it's something you can use. It's something your players, I think, will enjoy, so that you can get them focused and learning how to get that foot planted correctly, get the hip around and face that far post, so that you can get that connection and stop having these balls float out near post, which seems to happen all the time. But let me know if you have any questions, if something wasn't very clear, or you have questions about how to adjust the drill. Let me know in the comments below. I really do appreciate you checking this out. Please don't forget to like as well. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really does help out a lot. Every time you like, comment, add a subscriber, YouTube says, hey, you know what? People like this. We're going to show it to some other coaches, some other players. Because again, last thing I'll add, players, you can work on this on your own. Now, it would help if I know some of you do, because I know players that do. You have a bunch of old cheap, practice balls, so you can get out with a bag by yourself, and you can work on this by yourself. This is a drill you can work on by yourself if you want, and it just becomes beating your own record. If you've got a bunch of soccer balls, maybe you've got 10, and you can get that done in about 30 or 40 seconds or whatever. Go for a round like that, get as many as you can, count up the points, and try to beat your own record. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if you have any questions. Appreciate you checking this out. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will talk to you later.